In this video, we will be learning about how to name acids. This will continue our learning objective for learning how to name chemical compounds. We will start off by talking briefly about what acids are. Acids are molecular compounds, but they are special in their properties, and therefore they get their own type of nomenclature. When acid compounds are dissolved in aqueous solution, that means when they're dissolved in water, then the H+ ions come off very easily, and then they become very chemically reactive. And so acids can dissolve many metals, they are corrosive, and they cause, you have to take some safety precautions around them. So you'll learn about acids again later, but that's a very simple definition that will help you get going now. Since acids have an H+ ion that comes off very easily, that hydrogen is always listed first in the chemical formula. And so we have our two classes of acids, binary acids and oxyacids, and the main difference there is whether it contains oxygen or not. Oxyacids contain oxygen. Binary acids have no oxygen. Usually binary acids have just two elements, like bicycles have two wheels. So to start off with, let's name our binary acids. Binary acids all have a hydro prefix. So if you ever see an acid name that has a hydro prefix, that tells you that it's a binary acid. Then you'll have the base name of the nonmetal it's bonded to, followed with a suffix of "ic", and then the word acid. And so if you had one hydrogen bonded to a chlorine, then this would be hydrochloric acid. And so Cl-, the chlorine only has a common ion charge of -1, and then that would be a +1. And so we can think of this as somewhere in between our ionic compounds and our molecular compounds, because it does form a discrete molecule, but it's composed out of H+ ions and Cl- ions. So that's hydrochloric acid. Oxyacids are different. There's no hydro prefix in here, so just write that real big. No hydro prefix. But we do have to update our suffix depending on what suffix that polyatomic ion had. And so if the polyatomic ion ended with 8, ATE, then that suffix gets updated to "ic". And if it had an ITE suffix, then it gets changed to "us". And so HNO3 is made out of my H+ ion and my NO3- ion, which is nitrate. 8 is ATE, so it's going to get updated to "ic". So that becomes nitric acid. Now, there are some exceptions to this. So like sulfate does not become sulfic. Instead, it becomes sulfuric. Why? I don't know. And similarly with phosphate, phosphate is PO4 with a 3- charge. Phosphate does not get changed into phosphoric So that's not what happens. Instead, it becomes phosphoric. And so those are the two main exceptions to this. It's just a quirky thing that happens. Why? I do not know. Why extra letters get added back in. It's just a annoying thing that we just have to learn to deal with. So I do have a saying for you to help you remember which suffix gets changed into what. And so that saying is the white mouse ate icky cheese. And so you can see here that "ite" gets changed to "us" and "ate" gets changed to "ick." All right, let's do a practice problem. Go ahead and pause the video and try to work this out on your own. Unpause the video when you are ready to continue and double check your work. All right, let's go over this. So if we interpret our nomenclature, hydro is only used for binary acids. And so that means I gotta look at my periodic table to find chloric. Chloric must have been chlorine. And so that's hydrogen with chlorine. Chlorine forms a 1- ion, and so I only need one hydrogen in order to balance out that charge. This one contains oxygen, and so that's an oxyacid. That means my name will not start with hydro, and so I just have to figure out what this ion was. That ion is hypochlorite. That is an "ite" suffix, and so that's going to get changed into hypochlorous acid. This is sulfuric acid. That does not start with hydro, so that is also an oxyacid. That means I'm looking for an oxyacid of sulfur, which is sulfate. Sulfate is SO4 with a 2- charge. That means I'm going to need two H+ ions in order to make this neutral. H2SO4. HBr is a binary acid, no oxygen. And so I'm going to have to start my name with hydro. Hydrobromic acid. Now, that looks like periodic acid, but that's actually pronounced periodic acid. That's a polyatomic ion containing oxygen. No hydro up here. So this is an oxyacid. So that ends with ic, and so that's periodate. Iodate has 3 oxygens. Periodate must have 4 oxygens. And so I will need one H+ ion to make that neutral. HiO4 with a don't put the charge anymore, it's neutralized by the hydrogen. So hypochlorous acid, yep. All right. So that's the end of that video.